Tensions between NATO and Russia. Are we on the brink of WW3? Join me as I dive deep into the tensions between NATO and Russia and try to predict if we're really on the brink of WW3 within the next 24 hours. The world is on high alert as the standoff between NATO and Russia continues to escalate, with both sides flexing their military muscles and engaging in a war of words. In the past week alone, we've seen a flurry of provocative actions, from Russia's large-scale military exercises near the Ukrainian border to NATO's own military drills in Eastern Europe. And just yesterday, the US Air Force flew a fleet of B-52 bombers over the Black Sea, a move that Russia's defense ministry quickly dubbed a provocation. The stakes are high, and the consequences of miscalculation are dire. One wrong move, and the entire continent of Europe could be plunged into chaos. As a historian, I've studied the build-up to past conflicts, and I have to say, the parallels are unsettling. The question on everyone's mind is, how did we get to this point? The short answer is that it's been a long time coming. Ever since the end of the Cold War, NATO and Russia have been locked in a delicate dance, each side pushing the other's boundaries and testing the limits of their resolve. The roots of this conflict go back decades, to the original promise made by the West to Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev that NATO would not expand its membership eastward. Of course, that promise was quickly broken, and NATO's steady creep into Eastern Europe has been a major point of contention ever since. Fast forward to today, and the situation is more precarious than ever. NATO's own military exercises have been met with aggressive countermeasures from Russia, which has responded by bolstering its military presence in the region. The elephant in the room, of course, is Ukraine. Ever since the Euromaidan protests of 2014, Ukraine has been the focal point of this conflict, with both sides vying for influence and control. Make no mistake, this is no ordinary territorial dispute. The implications are global, and the potential consequences are catastrophic. We're not just talking about a local conflict, we're talking about a full-blown war that could redraw the map of Europe and beyond. As we speak, NATO and Russian military leaders are locked in a high-stakes game of brinkmanship, each side trying to outmaneuver the other without firing a shot. But the longer this standoff continues, the higher the risk of miscalculation, and the closer we get to the abyss. Historically, it's always the smallest spark that sets off the powder keg. In 1914, it was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. In 1939, it was the invasion of Poland. What will it be this time? One thing is certain, the world is holding its breath. The fate of Europe hangs in the balance, and the clock is ticking. The United States, as always, is caught in the middle, trying to broker a peaceful resolution while also maintaining its military presence in the region. But as we've seen time and time again, even the best-laid plans can go awry. Meanwhile, Russia is busy rearming and reorganizing its military, with a particular focus on its nuclear arsenal. The message is clear: Russia will not be pushed around. The irony, of course, is that both sides are playing the same game. NATO is engaging in its own military buildup, with member states pledging to increase their military spending and modernize their arsenals. In this game of military one-upmanship, there can be no winner. The only outcome is a destabilizing arms race that puts the entire world at risk. As the hours tick by, the tension builds. We're seeing troop movements, military exercises, and provocative statements from both sides. It's a dangerous game, and one that could have catastrophic consequences. The question is, what's the endgame here? Is it simply a war of nerves, or are we headed towards something much bigger? Make no mistake, this is no ordinary standoff. This is a clash of titans, with the fate of Europe hanging in the balance. The problem is that both sides are dug in, and neither is willing to back down. The result is a powder keg waiting to be ignited. In this environment, even the smallest spark can set off a chain reaction. One miscalculation, one misunderstanding, one rogue action, and we're plunged into the abyss. It's a scenario that's all too familiar. We've seen it before, in the lead-up to World War I, in the run-up to World War II. The parallels are uncanny, and the stakes are just as high. So what's the way out of this mess? Is it possible to find a peaceful resolution, or are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? The truth is, no one knows. But one thing is certain: the next 24 hours are crucial. This is the moment of truth, the moment when the fate of Europe will be decided. If we're lucky, cooler heads will prevail, and a deal will be struck. But if we're unlucky, well, let's just say that the consequences don't bear thinking about. The clock is ticking. The fate of Europe hangs in the balance. Will we find a peaceful resolution, or will we stumble into the abyss? The world is holding its breath, and I'm afraid that's where we'll leave it for today. Join me again soon for more analysis and commentary on this developing situation. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think we're really on the brink of WW3, or is this just another exercise in brinkmanship? Be sure to check out my previous videos on the topic, and I'll see you in the next one.